We happy?
Yeah, we happy. Hey there, Tarantula lovers. I'm Alex, and welcome back to Tarantula Haven. Nature's Exquisite Creatures sent me a package today. Jerry and Lily, who run Nature's Exquisite Creatures, are wonderful people, and I've been purchasing from them over the years, and I've done a few promos for them as well. So they contacted me and asked me if I wanted to do a promo for them this week, and I agreed to it, and they wanted to send me some stuff. Lily asked me if I was really into my isopods, which I have been getting into them, and she wanted to know what species I had. So she sent me some. She told me, the only thing that she told me was that she was sending me 3 species. So I'm very excited to find out what they are, and hopefully they will be really cool. Obviously, I've already seen them, but I received 1, 2, and 3 vials of isopods, and I will tell you what they are, and we'll get a look at them and get them set up. This first one I got is one that wasn't really on my list. This is Cubaris murina Papaya. And I had seen these before. I'd seen the little C version, which is a gray isopod, not very big. But this is the Papaya, and they are kind of a peachy color, which I think is pretty interesting. So I'm pretty happy to have gotten these. This next species is definitely one that was on my list, and this is Armadillidium warneri orange. And I had received some warneri before. They're kind of a brownish, light brown color, but these are the orange, and I had been eyeballing these for a little bit after I received the warneri, and I definitely wanted to try out the orange because they are so beautiful. I think you can see one right there, but I'm anxious to get these out to get a good look at them. And this last species is the Cubaris Panda King, species Panda King. And these are definitely some that have been on my list. Ever since I got my rubber duckies, I've been looking at other Cubaris species, and the Panda King is definitely one that I wanted to try out. So I am super happy to have gotten these because I love the little duckies, and the Panda King are very close to those. Okay, so first I'm going to set up the Cubaris murina Papaya. And I think you can already see these little guys moving around in there. Let me see if I can get you a good view. Sorry, it's kind of weird from the angle I'm looking at my camera here. All right, so there's some moving around right there at the top. And these are not a large species of isopod. They still stay relatively small. Oh, there's quite a few in there. But they are very cool. I love the little peachy colors that they have. And I was kind of surprised to find out when I was looking these guys up that they are a North American species. We do have them here in North America, and in fact they're supposedly in Florida. Make sure I don't have any left on my hands. So yeah, that was an interesting thing. I did not realize that we had Cubaris species in the United States. Shows you how much I know about isopods. Alright, so that does that. And I'll throw in a little piece of cuttle bone in here. Believe it or not, they will eat up all that calcium down to nothing. All right, so the next ones that I'm going to set up are the Armadillidium Warneri Orange. And the Warneri are very similar to the Armadillidium klugii, which are the clown isopods, but they are a lighter color, and they also, in this case, are orange. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's one right there at the top. Let's go ahead and get them out. Have to be careful not to accidentally pinch any of them. There we go. And they're off. A little bit of cuddle bone. And the last batch is the Cubaris species Panda King. And these guys are really cool. They look just like rubber duckies, except they are black and white. So there they are inside. I don't know if you can see them very well. Got a little handful right there. Okay, let's put them in. Whenever I make a video with isopods, I always get comments from people telling me that they don't understand the desire to keep them and asking what I get out of them. I guess it amounts to them bringing me back to my childhood and probably being my first animal that I've ever shown an interest in and kept just because I could collect them in my backyard. But what really catches my interest is all of the different species and color varieties that I never knew nor dreamt they came in. My favorite are the more colorful ones, but I also love watching their behaviors and feeding them. What I think is the most rewarding part for me is watching them thrive and grow, and especially when I start seeing little mankai everywhere. That just fills my heart with joy to see that, and in case you don't know, mankai is the word for babies in the isopod world. I don't expect everyone to want to keep isopods, to each his own, but I can't imagine a more docile, harmless, cute creature to have and observe. So 3 wonderful new isopod species for the Tarantula Haven. Thank you so much to Nature's Exquisite Creatures. Thank you to Jerry and Lily. I really appreciate it. I just hope I can make them thrive. But as you saw there from some of my other colonies, they are doing quite well. So hopefully I can continue that with these guys. And speaking of Nature's Exquisite Creatures, you should definitely take a look at their website. Not only do they deal with tarantulas, but they also have other invertebrates, isopods of course, and they've really expanded their lineup of isopods. They have tons and tons there, a lot of rare species to choose from. But not only that, I've seen millipedes and roaches and scorpions and other things on there as well. So they're definitely worth the look. They are one of the first ones that I went to when I was shopping for my Monocentropas balfouri Communal. They had it and their price was good. And in fact, they have them on their website now for the exact same price that I bought them, I think 4 or 5 years ago. So pretty cool on that. A lot of people have been asking me about an update on my Monocentropas balfouri Communal since I made the M. balfouri Communal Canyon, which was the larger scaped enclosure that I did. So here's a look at that. Here's a quick update on my Monocentropas balfouri Communal. As you can see, they have webbed up the entrances to the den, and they're using the den as intended, so that makes me very happy. I actually have one tarantula that likes to hang out in the T-Rex skull inside the mouth, and the other ones just kind of stay down in the den, but they come out and they venture, and they don't climb very high. They pretty much stick to the ledges and to the bottom, so I don't have to worry about them falling or anything like that, but they're pretty adept at climbing, and it seems like if they, were to try to fall or anything like that, there's plenty of stuff for them to hold on to so that they wouldn't take a massive tumble from the very top. After I threw in a few crickets, it didn't take them long to venture out. They felt the sensations on the webbing, and the first one came out to investigate. The crickets, on the other hand, tend to venture all over the place, so they tend to go toward the top where the light is, and I really don't like that, but they're restless and they're always moving, so they tend to do stupid stuff like jump off and end up falling in a web, and the tarantulas end up getting them anyway. One of the cool things about the enclosure is that it kind of forces the tarantulas to do some hunting on their own rather than just relying on the crickets to fall onto their web and they just come out and get them. Because the crickets are free to roam, they tend to come out and hunt for them rather than just kind of sit back and wait for them to fall in. This is what it looks like today. The webbing's a little bit thicker around the entrance there. And there's a little bit more webbing up here where the skull is. And over here on the next tunnel by the roots is very webbed up as well. You can see the web tunnels going through it. I noticed up here that there's an area where the foam expanded a little bit more and it left a bare spot on there. There's just a crack that's showing there. And the same thing happened on the other side in a couple little places right here. So I need to go back in there and touch it up. And they've also webbed around some of the branches at the bottom. So every time they come out, they web a little bit more. So I expect eventually they're going to web the entire base down here, pretty much all the way up to where the skull is. And they'll be crawling all over the place in that area. And I do plan on adding more. So once I do that, the activity will really pick up in here. So as you can see, my Monocentropus balfouri communal is doing just fine, and they're doing exactly what I thought they would. They are sticking to their burrow, and they're webbing up around their burrow all the way up to about the top of the skull there. They haven't webbed up much as I would have liked them to, because mostly they stay inside of their burrow, and I only see them when they come out to feed or when they come out to get water, so they don't venture out too much. I did get a lot of questions, people asking if I was worried that they were going to climb up too high and possibly fall down and injure themselves, and I really wasn't worried about that because I kind of know their behavior and where they go. And they only did that at the beginning when they were looking for a place to establish their burrow. They just kind of wandered around because they actually did not have any place because it was a brand new area for them. But once they established their burrow, that's pretty much where they stay, and I don't really have to worry about them coming out and getting up into dangerous areas. The crickets do. The crickets climb up all the way to the top looking for whatever, and they always do stupid stuff and jump down and end up falling in a web, and then next thing you know, a tarantula comes out and grabs it and eats it. So an interesting thing that has come out of this is that I actually get to see them hunt. Most tarantulas don't hunt. They're usually a wait and see kind of predator. You know, they're just an ambush predator that sits in one spot, something comes by, they pounce on it. But with the Monocentropus balfouri, I throw crickets in there, they sense all the vibration on the webbing and everything, and then they start coming out and looking for them. And because everything's not webbed up, they kind of will actually walk around feeling for their prey, and if one comes nearby, then they do pounce on it. So it's a little bit of a different behavior than you get to see with most of your other tarantulas, which is an interesting thing about Monocentropus balfouri. They just are full of surprises. They always do things that are different from all the other species. And I do plan on adding to my communal. I'm thinking about maybe adding 5 more or so to get about 10, maybe a little bit more than that. And I think that's a pretty good size communal. I don't want to go crazy and get 100 or anything like that, because that would be very expensive for the starters, but it would also be something that I feel like I could not keep up with as far as feeding is concerned. I don't understand how people with these huge communals can afford to feed these things all the time like that, because that would be a lot of prey to put in there, and you don't really know who's eating and who's not. So I would rather keep it smaller than go too big. I do enjoy them, although they don't come out very much, but that's just the nature of the beast. That's just the way they are. When they do come out, it's just a great treat to sit there and watch them and enjoy them. Speaking of which, if you are in the market for your own Monocentropus balfouri communal, they are currently on the website at naturesexquisitecreatures.com, and they are still the same price that I paid for them all those years ago, 5 for $250, which is a pretty good deal. And if you use the discount code THAVEN10, you can get 10% off your purchase, which is a really good deal. So what are you waiting for? Go get your Monocentropus balfouri communal and pick you up some isopods while you're at it. And that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you want to support this channel, I have a Teespring store where I sell Tarantula Haven merchandise. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you'd like to become a patron yourself, there's a link down below in the description, as well as all the others. Until next time, keep loving them tarantulas and isopods. Go get you some at naturesexquisitecreatures.com.